Hey, what's up? It's Natural Gus. Welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, I greatly appreciate it. If it's your first time here, I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you like and share, click subscribe, hit the little bell, all that good stuff. This video is about Metroid Prime 4, but more specifically about the storyline. Jump right into it, right? I know a lot of people out there are thinking that Metroid Prime 4 should just pick up right after Metroid Prime 3, and that Metroid Other M should not even be acknowledged to exist. I understand, but what I'm saying here is, instead of pretending it didn't happen, we can just reference it and tweak it a little bit in a way that just makes sense to the Metroid universe. So therefore, I'm suggesting that Samus perhaps has some traumatic experiences with her Ridley encounters as a little kid, and that's what was happening in Other M. Now, the whole thing about Other M is her being so submissive to Adam, but I don't really have much of a problem with the way things were going in Other M, other than the fact that she was not as aggressive as I expected her to be, and as dominant as I expected her to be. It was a little too submissive, and a lot of that kind of showed in Metroid Prime 3, Corruption. However, in Corruption, she was kind of bullied around a little bit by Gondreda, and as a matter of fact, I remember at the end of Metroid Prime 3, Sylux actually chases you after you flee. A lot of people were having questions about whether or not that was Sylux, but I could see a lot of resemblances in Sylux's ship and in the ship that was chasing Samus at the end of Metroid Prime 3. So I believe Metroid Prime 4 should at least touch on that ending. At least at the beginning of Metroid Prime 4, give us something a little bit to continue on that ending of Metroid Prime 3. Imagine firing up Metroid Prime 4 on your Nintendo Switch for the first time, and the first thing you see, before the title intro or anything, Samus's gunship flying through the galaxy, and you get shot by Sylux, and it's up to you to dodge his attacks, even if you can't turn around to fire back, and it becomes like a little mini game. You end up crashing to like a nearby vegetated planet with a bunch of moons and stuff, and Sylux crashes shortly after you. Now you have to fight him using all the upgrades that you finished Prime 3 with. So you do have all those upgrades at your disposal. Now, during the battle between you and Sylux takes it to you hardcore. He just like beats you within an inch of your life. Suddenly, he runs away because a huge shadow is cast upon you. A huge shadow comes over you, and they don't show you directly what that shadow is, but it scares the crap out of Sylux, and he flees the scene. By now, you're weaponless, and your ship is wrecked, basically. Oh, you have to go through this unfamiliar planet and find upgrades to regain certain abilities that you lost during your battle against Sylux. Even if they're not the same exact abilities that you had before you faced Sylux, some new abilities that are mirrored in advantage to what those other abilities gave you before. You maybe have to find some parts or materials to rebuild your ship, or rebuild malfunctioning parts of the ship, or make it better or upgrade it so you can get the heck out of there and go to another area of the same planet or to another moon of that planet to try to engage Sylux and see what the hell's going on. Upon finding out what Sylux was up to, you also find out what it was that scared him so much during his battle with you. And that's when the gigantic Kraid comes in. Kraid has not been in any of the Metroid Prime games so far, and that's one of the biggest bosses in the Metroid series. I actually saw some concept art of Kraid back in the day, and I was not 100% sure if it was legitimate or not, but it looked very Prime-esque. You know what I mean? It looked very much authentic to the Metroid Prime art style, and I definitely believed it was true. But as the internet goes, it's hard to believe anything that doesn't come directly from the horse's mouth. So I left it at that. If anybody has any concrete information, please leave a comment and tell me about it, because I would very much like to know if that was the legit concept artwork for Cray that popped out one time. There are other monsters and villains in the Metroid series that did not make an appearance in the Prime series as of yet. Like, for example, Batwoon is one of them. Crocomire, I believe Dragoon hasn't appeared either. There's been a few that have missed the party, but they've actually managed to put a lot of them in as well. Now, this new planet that I came up with has various moons, so you can visit the different moons of the planet if you want to complete the game 100%. A similar scenario from what we were introduced to in Corruption when you were visiting the different planets and the different sectors of the planets. Expand that tremendously by doing what Mass Effect used to do. Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 were amazing games, and a lot of the navigation through the galaxies and the universe can be adapted to a Metroid. The way that you had access to an intergalactic map in Mass Effect, that can be very well implemented into Metroid Prime as far as navigating through these planets on your gunship, or even looking at an upgraded map data that Samus might have downloaded. Now, depending on how you might be looking at it, I believe that the final boss should be significant, and it should be significant to the Prime series more than the Metroid series overall. So if we're going to stick with Metroid in general, the final boss should definitely be Kraid. And hands down, it should be an epic battle of epic proportions. Think about Shadow of the Colossus. That's what I'm looking at. Something like that you have to actually climb on this guy as if he was a world of his own. And it would be brutal. However, if we want to stick with the Prime specific series, we want to stick to the Prime specific storyline, the final boss should be Sylux. And that only makes sense because at the end of Prime 3, Sylux was the one that followed you. But get this, Sylux now has employed the help of Ridley. But what if, unbeknownst to Sylux, Ridley just wants to collect resources and return to planet Zebes and reawaken the mother brain. The Metroid Prime series takes place between Metroid 1 and Metroid 2. However, it can be just the Metroid Prime trilogy. The initial trilogy could probably just take place between Metroid 1 and Metroid 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Metroid games so far all take place about a year apart from each other. Metroid Prime takes place a year after Metroid 1. Metroid Prime 2 takes place a year after Metroid Prime 1. Metroid Prime 3 takes place a year after Metroid Prime 2. Then Metroid 2 takes place a year after Metroid Prime 3. And so on. And I was also thinking about the aspects of online that Nintendo needs to really hit it out of the park with some online gaming. However, I'm not a big fan of online multiplayer games myself. Those battle arena games like Fortnite and Paladins, or I don't know what other games there are. I'm not a really big fan of them. I do believe that online gaming is still a great deal in gaming in general. So I believe Metroid Prime 4 can incorporate some sort of online capability. We do remember when Wind Waker introduced the online capabilities where you would put a message in a bottle and it was connected to the Miiverse. And those were all online capabilities on these games, even though they were not online multiplayer. Now, Mario 3D World has online multiplayer, which is amazing. But I feel like in Metroid Prime 4, we can probably see a different form of online multiplayer that is not a battle arena type of game, that is more of a cooperative, and Perhaps your buddy is playing somewhere on the other side of the world and you're playing on this side of the world, and you're both literally playing the same campaign, but you're exploring different areas of the world. And then your friend can tell you, hey, come to Brio. I found a locked gate that I need a second person to help me open. Then you'll hop on your gunship and find Brio and go and help him, and then he can advance, but at the same time you got some upgrades too, and then you're still going about your business. You're still playing your own campaign of the game while he's playing his campaign of the game, but it's still a connected universe. That would be great. That would be awesome. But perhaps I'm being too ambitious. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there and just adding to the already peaked hype that is Metroid Prime 4. If you have any other ideas for what this game could include or involve, throw them in the comments. I want to chat. I want to talk about this. This is really my favorite video game series of all time, and I am dying to explore more and hear what people have to say about possibilities for the future of the franchise. So once again, like I said, if you like the video, click like, hit share, subscribe, click that little bell, get notifications, all of that. It's only gonna get better from here. As you can see, I'm starting out, my first video sucked, the second one sucked less, the third one sucked a little less, and so on. It's gonna get better and better and better, and I guarantee it. All right, so once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one, where I'm probably gonna try to talk more about gameplay and mechanics.